Hiya, I'm a Zamen, and space is kinda lonely. There's just so much nothingness out there, and what you do get to see is but a small glimpse of a massive picture, one you can't hope to comprehend the full gravity of. Enter Hamatan, a game that came out literally last week where you play as the space version of a foreign contract worker who gets trapped in an airport. This small room is where the entire game takes place. Our nude protag here, much like Markiplier in That One Thing, does not leave the confines of this area. Instead of having a flyable spaceship, Mr. Nude here is armed with a blank map of the moon, a drone creation machine, and a hibernation tank. The goal is simple: find a way out of this room. And with that, my adventure in this empty room begins. Waking up from hibernation, there's really not much to work with. My sole source of motivation is a sticky note on the wall from my presumed wife and son. They seem to be wishing me well at the Amazon Fulfillment Center and are encouraging me to come home as soon as possible. There's a little window here that leads to an airlock, but there's no spaceship. Yet. And lastly is the drone console. From this device, I can access a blank map of the surrounding area and command my drones. However, on the right side you can see that I have a few emails that I should read, starting with the first one, welcome. Like I said in the intro, I'm a worker who's here to work on the nearby Facility A. Apparently a transport ship is supposed to pick me up so I can get started with my orientation, but that's not here yet. Meanwhile, the next email is about updated account privileges that let me know that I have been given access to the drones. I shouldn't normally have the ability to use these drones. Neat. Lastly, the final email is listed as warning. You have 300 days to get out, in all caps, with seemingly no origin for who sent this. Very strange, and a warning like that is enough of a reason to start working towards an escape. So I assume the best thing I can do is start exploring the darkness around me. So I order number 1, the drone, to go explore and look around. There's gotta be something here, even if it'll take a few days to explore the surrounding sectors. The closest sectors to me are a 5-day trek. Despite me noticing that, I still elect to send the drone away on a 10-day excursion for no reason. And once I do that, I go back into hibernation. Space travel takes a lot of time and would be outside of my normal lifetime. So to ensure I survive, I hibernate the days away, stepping into the pod for 10 days, and once I step out again, I can see my drone's progress. It found a big crater, and that doesn't help me in the slightest. But at least it brought back an ore that I can use for something later, I'm sure. I also have another email that informs me of a transport that's arrived to take me to the nearby Facility A, so I approach the airlock to board the vessel, but it's there where I learn that I can't leave this landing pod, because Facility A and the other facilities are no longer capable of sustaining life. Airlock. Is there really nothing else in here? Just feels kind of lonely, I guess. That's the point of the game! I mean, firmly establishing that I am alone. And this room is all that truly exists in the brief moments of consciousness I have when I'm not hibernating. We're gonna skip forward to day 46, where I acquire my first bit of electronics from the 4th expedition. I made the drone go on an even longer one that took about 20 days, and I still haven't touched the area closest to me. With these newfound electronics, I can have Drone 1 construct a second drone, doubling the amount I can explore. Though making a drone does take 30 days, and I can see that building a spaceship will take 1,000 days, and requires 100 ore, 100 electronics, and 100 fuel. But that's the end goal, so I better start exploring. There's gotta be something out there.
Find a way to the unknown, yeah. Just
And then on day 123, I finally find something. A mine and Facility A, my would-be workplace. They're real, and I can send some drones into them to gather something. Though Facility A gathering takes 12 days and Mineshaft gathering takes 15. Meaning I jump to day 135, where I acquire some bodies and an email, one written by a woman named Suzanne that's directed to Imelda from HR. It talks about job stuff and...
Kara? Are you there? It's me.
Suzanne thinks it's crazy that Kara is having to deal with some disciplinary action for not checking someone's ID when they held the door open as a kind gesture, arguing why would anyone want to break into this facility that's literally in the middle of nowhere. But then the email gets stranger, mentioning a quarantine, a 3-month-long quarantine that prevents anyone from leaving, because apparently some scientists dropped something on the floor. Such a simple mistake led to a quarantine. Yet the most interesting thing is when the email mentions a person named Emery. Someone who says everything like it's a question. Nice to meet you, Suzanne. I'm going to eat lunch now. I'm going to bed early? Very strange behavior, and likely related to what needed to be quarantined. The email also unlocks the ability to filter my drones, which is very helpful. Though I only really figure out what 2 of the filters are. The rightmost button over the drone selection area, it will filter the drones based on who will be done with their task soonest, while the button furthest left filters drones by which ones are currently working on making more drones. Features are added as I discover and gather from the facilities. Speaking of which, gathering from Facility A nets me a 20% chance of finding electronics, and an 80% chance of finding bodies. A lot of dead people can be found there. Skipping forward 5 days, my mine exploration is complete and it's got ore, a 100% chance of collecting ore, along with another email. One that's mainly about how the company is changing up their mining system by focusing on creating more drones than they destroy. Which is a strategy, I suppose. At the bottom of the email, though, is something far more interesting. Reading, also, I had some of the weird dirt sent to the science team in Facility C. The chemist there will take a look and try to figure out what it is. Interesting, mysterious, weird space dirt that needs to be studied. Whatever horrors could that have unleashed, perchance? But it'll be another half an hour before I make any more discoveries as I continuously send my drones back into the void. On day 266, my drones complete their investigation of Station B. It's a place where I can acquire electronics, and it has another email. Hopefully not goodbye. From Rauno, a robotics mechanic, we are told of the waning days of this space colony. Apparently the quarantine just failed because people didn't follow the instructions, refusing to stay in their rooms, resulting in the spread of some kind of virus that drove people to violence. People are just killing each other with makeshift weapons, but the middle paragraph is particularly haunting. Yesterday, I heard someone get killed down the hall. I don't know if it was one of us or one of them, but I didn't go and check. What does that mean? What kind of infection is this? Rauno then concludes by commenting on the creepy emails he's been receiving, saying he has no idea where they are coming from, as they don't stay in the system long enough to be backtraced. Rauno then thanks the person for being kind and expresses a desire to see them on the other side, as this situation was most certainly a death sentence. Whatever happened had to be some kind of infection that distorts the body and makes the infected into some kind of skinwalker or mimic that pretends to be human. Yeah, a mimic. But not like that. More like, yeah, that. The emo then unlocks automation, granting me the ability to create a set of commands that my drones will repeat. But it's not worth using yet, as I still have too much that needs to be decided manually with very little to fall back on. Day 300 eventually rolls around, and I get an email. It hungers. A calendar event has been added for day 1200. It's ominous, but there's seemingly nothing I can do about that. So I hibernate for a few days and awaken to the discovery of Facility C. It's on the farthest edges of the map, but there must be something in it. As I set up my gathering bots to go explore it, I also begin greatly expanding in the number of drones I have. Like, by this point, I have close to 15 of the things. However, on day 311, I made a discovery. I noticed a new resource. Is that even in my... Wait, that's not my log. Wait, the bones aren't in my log. Wait a second. I had 9 bodies. Bones. Once day 300 rolled around, my days were numbered. Whatever killed everyone was now focused on me. My grace period had run out. Perhaps that's why the quarantine failed. If you just sit in hibernation while the infection counts down the days, then... well, you're already marked for death. The only way to stave it off is with bodies. Bodies that can scavenge from Facility C, because the bodies are what it consumes first. I don't survive much longer. I never find out what's in Facility C, because I ran out of bodies. And once I was out of bodies, it became impossible for me to hibernate. As each day, I was awoken by a heavy clanging. Day after day, unable to do a thing. Before long, my landing pod was breached, resulting in decompression. Ending me immediately. At that death, I really didn't feel like I had a strong grasp on the situation or even the mechanics of the game, but I felt motivated. After that experience, I really did think this game was winnable, so I decided to give it another try, though I turned down the difficulty, which, as far as I can tell, only seems to give you a longer grace period. Instead of my warning telling me to escape in 300 days, it was 400 days. And on hard, it's 250 days. This time, I didn't mess around. I had my initial starting drone explore the nearby surrounding areas and come back quickly. And once I had the materials, I made a second drone as soon as possible. From there, I began exploring the areas in a gradually widening circle, targeting the closest areas to maximize my days spent. I also couldn't just copy my map from the prior game because it appears that the locations are randomly generated when you start a new run. I also began to automate by having a few drones solely dedicated to pulling bodies out of Facility A, building me a small stockpile for one day 400 rows. And it's not until day 370 rolled around where I'm able to finally explore Facility C. It's here where I can find rocket fuel and uncover the last email. Plans. Written by Wally, the GOAT, Operations Manager. In the waning days of the colony here, Wally noticed that next year a new employee would arrive, that employee being me, Mr. Nude. Knowing that upon my arrival I would be taken to Facility A, where I would certainly meet my end at the hand of the infection, Wally decides to try and save my life, at least spare a single soul because everyone else was already forfeit. Wally sent his own drones to destroy the life support systems of every facility to ensure that the transport machines wouldn't be able to take me out of my landing pod, because no life support is a workplace hazard. OSHA still has some sway, leaving me stuck in my landing pod, trapped, but alive. And to give me a fighting chance, he granted me drone privileges, hoping for things to have settled down, and that with the drones, I'll be able to construct a rocket and escape. Though he worries that my activity with the drones might stir things up again, and so he promises to work on a system that will let me know how much time I have left. Meaning the warning messages and hunger messages I'm receiving aren't from the infection, it's just the Wally alert system, so the colony's people were just getting a different kind of message, and that's pretty creepy. But at the very least, with this email, I know who I can thank.
They used to call me Wally.
Is that your name?
Nope.
30 days later, day 400 rolls around, and the battle for my survival begins. Bones start to appear, and the bodies I had stockpiled are already dwindling. Thanks to Wally's email, I have also acquired a stats page, which lets me see the rate at which I'm gathering materials from the facilities. Also the rate at which I'm making and losing drones. Because there is always a chance you lose a drone when trying to gather things, starting at a 5% chance from the facility A to a whopping 20 and 30% from facilities B and C. Truthfully, things are not going well. For the most part, I'm running out of bones and I'm losing too many drones. I can't keep exploring the facilities because my drones are just breaking, and making drones takes 30 days. In those 30 days, the drones that I sent to facility A and B and the mines have enough time to make 2 whole trips. Double the chance of each of them breaking. Things get so dire that at certain points I don't have any bodies and am forced to wake up and progress one day at a time, hoping that a shipment of 1 to 2 bodies comes in. It's a slow death, but I have to struggle for every possible second of life. So I painstakingly tough it out and gradually start building up my drone empire, only to have it crash after too many drones die in gathering, and then have to painstakingly endure only having 0 bodies and progressing the day forward one day at a time, yet again, and again, and again, but then I had a brilliant idea. I don't need to explore Facility C. It only has fuel, and fuel is to help me escape, not survive. Instead, I need to take the drones from Facility C, which has the longest time to gather at 30 days, and is also the most dangerous place for drones, and do as the great Star once said,
And push it somewhere else!
The sudden influx of extra drones is exactly what I need, as that slight edge and some good enough luck ensures that I start producing more drones than I'm breaking. I'm pulling out more than enough bodies to keep the infection at bay, and I can gather a lot of materials to keep production up. It took nearly an hour, but eventually my production was unstoppable, and I was able to go into the automation menu and set myself up for life. I kinda just threw things and put things on the sequence based on what I needed at the moment. Like for the first one here, I decided to slow in production, only adding 1 drone before getting 2 of each material, because I wanted to establish like some kind of stockpile first, before I would then commit to making countless drones. Slow improvements made more sense. From there, I hibernated for 60 days to find that I was indeed still alive, with at least 20 drones entering Facility A. I had more than enough bodies to outpace the hunger. It takes a good bit of trial and error, so every 60 days I check back in on the drones and come back to either having too much of one thing or not enough of the other. Thankfully, I always have too many bodies. So with a lot of back and forth, eventually, including Facility C, I'm able to gather the required 100 ore, electronics, and fuel, allowing drone 2287 to begin creating a rocket ship. It'll be done in 1000 days, and it's currently day 2121. Day 1800 passed a while ago, and all I got was an email saying, but with my automation, I really don't worry, so I wait 100 days in 4 separate times, and then realize I can type in other digits besides 100. and proceed to hibernate for 600 days. And finally, on day 3121, the rocket is complete. 8.5 years were wasted here, mostly in hibernation, but now it's over. With victory on my bare skin, I drag myself over to the airlock and prepare for liftoff. This nightmare is over, as the game congratulates me on escaping, with me reading those 2 words on my screen like this is an NES game and it's congratulating me. I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed. I think I would have been fully and completely satisfied if it then said, "You escaped. You were able to reunite with your wife and child, who had long thought you died. Your isolation is over." Like, come on, give me a complete sentence. Just tell me I made it back to the family. Give me something to feel good about. I know survival's cool and all, but come on, I want more. Also, nothing really happens if you linger around for a few thousand more days. You just keep getting emails saying it hungers and yeah, nothing happens. Also, interesting to note is that gradually you do start losing all your drones after hibernating for so long. Like going off my winning run, by day 4900, all my drones were dead. The last one stopped working back on day 3000 or something, and the stats page is busted. It literally just says ASD. I assume with the power of automation, the numbers just got too big and the drones were erased. I went as far as day 6684 because 9999 bodies could only last about 4000 days. But that will bring an end to Hamatan, which for $3 is a solid little game that I thoroughly enjoyed. All 5 hours of my playtime were great, and I understand it's not the most visually engaging thing, but it scratches that fear of the unknown in the same way that Iron Lung did, and it adds an interesting twist with the hibernation feature. I really like it, because it kinda grounds the space travel, because space is really super big. Like, trust me, I saw Project Hail Mary, it's really big. And the isolation factor is top-notch. You really do feel like you're alone in your own tiny bubble. So truthfully, I would recommend you give this game a try if it interests you, especially since it can actually be pretty intense and you can really lock in when you're really driven to the edge. That stretch where I was just going day in and day out with the clanging noise was great. Plus, I didn't get to talk about it too much, but the game's sound design is great. It's so good. The little clanks, the soft hiss of your technology, it's very gripping and makes the place feel so empty. The heavy clanking of the infection creeping up towards you is unnerving and makes you wonder, what exactly is this? What is attacking your landing pod? And the game has like 2 songs that just like fade in and out, occasionally leaving you with moments of silence that feel really purposeful and are just long enough that you start thinking something is wrong or off. The songs also do just sound great, and it's truly a wonderful experience. For all of that, I want to thank the game's creator, Ms. for making the experience possible. Now, with all of that having been said, I have been a Zamen, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. These kinds of videos are fun to make. I just have an addiction to creating long-form game dives, because I really want to cover Franbo, and I want to share my Deltarune experience. That's gonna come next, but before those come out, I have another video that will be pretty fun in my opinion. Anyway, goodbye.